Hello! This video has been a long time coming. It's been a while since I've been able to provide any updates on Book 2 of the Werewolves Hide series. If you found your way to this video on accident, please stick around. If you intentionally sought this video out because you're invested in the story, please watch the entire video. Everything that I have to say is important, and I will keep it as brief as possible. I've even got notes here. So, first thing, Werewolves Hide, the very first book that I ever wrote, released on October 13th, 2023. If you've ever enjoyed anything that I've done, and in particular, if you really enjoyed that book, please consider rating it or reviewing it wherever you consumed it. It was released on digital, paperback, and hardcover. Recently, in case you missed it, I actually released it on audiobook. It's available on Audible and on Apple iTunes. And if you prefer to consume books that way, you now have that availability. It was professionally recorded by a voice actor, and I'm really proud with how that turned out. I can't control those prices, so keep an eye out on sales if you've already bought physical versions of the book, and or I think Audible has credits. So Werewolves Hide, Book 1, first book I ever wrote, available on Audible and Apple iTunes. If you do check it out there, please listen to enough of it to give it a rating as well. I think you have to listen to about half of the book. Just play it in the background. I don't care. But yeah, if you like it, if you enjoyed it, that's a free way to really make a difference to get more information about the books out there. So yeah, audiobook, Werewolves Hide. Check it out. Next thing, I'm working on an author-focused website where I will be compiling all of the stories that I work on in the near future. I'll be honest, this second book, I'll get into it. It took a lot of work. It took a lot out of me, just to be frank. And so I don't know how long, if ever, another book will come. But I'm working on a website just in case, just for the in case. And I will provide more details about that website when I can in the future. You can probably guess what the website is. It's not live at the time of this recording. I'm still working on it. So website, author focused, on the way. Reverse that, said it like Yoda. Socials. If you enjoy anything that I do have social medias created for the author creative journey of my life. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, all at joshdavidsonbooks. And if you want to email me, my email address is joshdavidsonbooks@gmail.com. That might change. I might get a professional email through the website. I don't know. I just feel like everybody uses Gmail these days. Anyway, okay, so yeah, follow me on social if you aren't already. So, Book 2 in the Werewolves Hide series. When I wrote the first book, it was not intended on being a series. I always had, you always have ideas on what happened kind of just before your story started and what could happen just after your story ended. So even as I was writing the first book, I was getting ideas of like, oh, it would be cool to see what's going on with this character in the future, or maybe get introduced to a new character. You know, a character you didn't even know that you wanted or needed in your life. Maybe it exists in book 2. And so, yeah, so I basically essentially I know it's been a year for all of you, but I essentially went right into working on book 2. So as I was wrapping up book 1, I started my notes and thoughts and ideas for what a potential sequel could be. And I did that for about 8 months. Like literally all the time, almost every day, whenever I wasn't working, sometimes maybe when I was, I get these ideas in my head, and I'm starting to put together these ideas for a potential sequel. And then finally, earlier this year, I was able to put all those thoughts in order and actually write the book. The second book is 2/3 longer than the first book. I think the first book was like 340 pages. The sequel is 555 pages. It's a big story, and I'm really proud of it. So what is the name of that story? What is the name of the next book? So the title of the sequel to Werewolves Hide is called Werewolves Hide at the Grave Robbers Gulch. Yeah, I don't really want to say too much because I'm very spoiler averse. Even the back of the book blurb for the sequel doesn't really give away anything that happened in the first book. But if you read the first book, you understand what I'm saying in so many ways. So Werewolves Hide at the Grave Robbers Gulch has an amazing cover. The artwork was done by my good friend Junior. He did the cover for my first book. We worked together to get the cover done for the second one, and it far exceeded my expectations. So let's take a look at it. The cover art, again, was done by my good friend Junior. We worked really hard on it for a long time. It always starts so simple. And then when you really get down to the details, it's really hard to make those final decisions because, you can alter it 100 times, but you only get to release it once, at least in this format. But I really put a lot of thought into what I want to reveal on these covers. Again, I'm very spoiler averse. I want people to be interested in the story. If you just come across this cover on Amazon, I want you to take a look at the story description and see if it's something you want to read. So I want it to be kind of mysterious. But then once you actually understand what happens in the story, I want you to kind of appreciate the cover a little bit more. So Werewolves Hide at the Grave Robbers Gulch. When does it release? It releases on October 10th, 2024. You definitely need to make sure you catch up on the first book. This jumps right into continuing that story. And, to be completely honest, like, this is definitely, like, my proudest creative moment, you know what I mean? Like, ever. Like, and I felt that way about the first book. I feel extremely, extremely proud and confident that I found a way to outdo the first book. And I've never written a sequel before. Every single original idea I've ever had in my life, whether I was writing and directing independent films or writing my first book or even short stories or short films, they've all been standalone ideas. I have never written a sequel before in my life because to be honest, I was scared. I was scared that all the good ideas are gone. Like all of the setup and the world that I wanted to create is on display. So I never really gave, and I'm just such a fan and a sucker for original ideas, just original concepts, characters, stories, as original as they can be, the longer that we go on in this life. And as prevalent as storytelling and streaming has become, there's always a story out there and there's always going to be maybe overlap or similarities, but I really try really hard to do things that I've never seen before or I've never heard before. And I consume a lot of entertainment. So hopefully I find a way to ride that line of it's, maybe some things are familiar, but most of it should feel new. And so I was really scared to write a sequel. And now that I have done it, I don't, I genuinely, even if I write other books in this series, this is still probably going to be the best one of the series. Like I just love it so much. I literally want to be known for two things in this life, like raising my son right and being the author of this story. Like, I love it so much. Release date, October 10th, 2024. The digital book is available for pre-order. So at the time of this video release, there's a link in this video description where you can pre-order the digital book. So if you read books on Kindle, you can pre-order it now to show me what kind of interest is there. When it releases around midnight, your time zone on the release date of 10/10/24, it will be available on paperback, hardcover, digital for pre-order, and audiobook. I actually, at the time of this recording, I plan to release audiobook day one for the sequel. So get caught up on the audiobook on the first one and then be ready to go for the audiobook when the sequel comes out. I'm working on 3 commercials that will release in September and early October leading up to the release date. They don't have too many spoilers. They're kind of just vibe and mood and kind of show you what the feel of the book is going to be. But if you've never read the first book, there might be some setting spoilers. So I would recommend getting caught up on the first book before you watch any commercials for the second one, just to be safe. So please rate and review both books if you enjoy these stories, the first one and the sequel when it comes out. They take literally hundreds of hours and years of my life to put together, and it's a real sickness. If I could let it go, I would. But I can't. And so all I can ask is that when I put all this time into these things, that people give it a shot. People give it a chance. So Werewolves Hide at the Grave Robbers Gulch, available 10/10/24, digital book on pre-order. The website will go live soon. Follow me on socials. Like this video and subscribe if you're new around here. And let me know, are you excited? And maybe, I don't even want to open that door. Okay, so thank you so much from the bottom of my heart if you've ever consumed any stories that I've written, and if you're excited for this one, I promise you it is worth it.